Hello, Fresh Spirits. I hope you're doing very well. One of our viewers sent me a message. I won't disclose the name, of course, but I wanted to thank this person for being so courageous. She or he has been feeling a little bit depressed. It is okay to feel sad in life. That is part of life. Happiness and sadness are two sides of the same coin. We need both to grow and to evolve as human beings. It is true that depression can be a chemical imbalance in the brain, but it is also true that you have the power to overcome anything that happens in your body and in your mind. Yoga psychology teaches us how to manage our mind so we can overcome negative thinking, sadness, or depression. The first thing that we need to understand very clearly is that we are not our mind and we are not the thoughts that our mind produces. This doesn't mean that the mind is not important. The mind is an expression of consciousness itself. But we need to learn how to manage our mind in a healthy way. You can think about the mind as a sharp knife. We want it to be sharp, but it becomes a problem when the knife turns against you and starts hurting you. But how do we control our mind? We don't want to repress or suppress our emotions. We simply want to observe our thoughts, observe our emotions, and let them pass. I really like the example that yoga teachings provide, that we are the sky, the blue sky. This is our consciousness, universal consciousness that is also within us. Our thoughts and our emotions are the clouds that pass through the sky. We want to observe these thoughts and simply let them go. When you start feeling negative thoughts, sadness, simply chew on it and act normal. Don't get hooked on those thoughts. And slowly, you are going to start changing that negative pattern into a more positive pattern, which is your true nature. Another aspect of yoga psychology that is very helpful when we feel sad is that there is always a space within you that is always calm, peaceful, and joyful. You can call these your soul, your spirit, your Atman. And this is a space of consciousness. This is what allows you to observe things, to be the observer of your thoughts and your feelings. This doesn't mean that you have to be indifferent to your thoughts, your emotions, or the emotions of others. This simply means that you are going to act with certain detachment so you don't create a story in your head that doesn't really exist. If you really step back for a moment and think about all the thoughts that your mind produces, choose only the ones that are productive, that are healthy, and you are gonna end up with just a few thoughts. Things like speculation, assumptions, expectations, worrying about things that you cannot control, thinking excessively about the future, being stuck in the past about things that happened to you or things that people did to you. All of that is like a snowball. The more you focus your attention on that, the more it grows. And then we end up with a big story about ourselves and about our lives that is not your true self. If you were put in an island by yourself since you were a baby, you would have very little social conditioning. Actually, you will have zero social conditioning. Social conditioning can also be good if it teaches us good practices, positive practices like believing in yourself, being good to others, helping others, being responsible, and developing strength and resilience. But social conditioning can be very detrimental when it starts putting in your mind things that you don't necessarily have to be or do. having to be married at a certain age, having to have children if you don't want to, having degrees just because your parents expect you to go to school, getting a nice job that pays very well so you can show everyone that you are somebody of value. All of these are examples of over-identification with our personality, with our person. What about our spiritual side? What about our soul? That space within you that doesn't need any names, any titles, any achievements, any labels, and any identification. This is what yoga psychology and spiritual teachings refer to as the true self. Anything that doesn't belong to you naturally is not your true self. So now that we understand these very clearly, we can start developing healthier habits that have more clean thoughts, pure thoughts, calming and joyful thoughts, even in the face of adversity. Because when you connect with your true self, with your soul, with your spiritual side, you can overcome very difficult situations and you can go through very challenging times with a calm mind. Your temperament is grounded in stillness. This is what we want to achieve as human beings. This is what people ought to be focusing most of their time on. But unfortunately, nobody teaches us that. So we think we're going to feel fulfilled and grounded when we accumulate a lot of things, when we have the perfect partner, the perfect relationship. This is the source of a lot of suffering, a lot of disappointment, anxiety, and depression for people. Now, I want you to keep something in mind. There is no magic formula for everybody in the world. We are born in this physical body with different life experiences. Each person has a different energetic field. We carry these from past lives, from experiences in this life, even from the day we were born. Some people are born with a lot of samskaras. In yoga psychology, samskaras are accumulation of thoughts called vrittis. These create patterns of thinking, habitual patterns that are very hard to break. So the more samskaras you are born with, the more difficult it's going to be for you to break habits of negative thinking or feeling sadness or depression. But do not lose hope. Everybody is a candidate for liberation from this social conditioning. Everybody is a candidate for elevating their own consciousness. I want to give you a tip that I would like you to practice when you are by yourself. Please write in a piece of paper what is your problem, what is the situation that you're going through, what is causing you anxiety, or what are your feelings and thoughts that is making you anxious, sad, or depressed. Then I would like you to narrow this to 5 or 7 sentences. And at the very end, you're going to try to reduce it to 3 sentences. This practice is going to train your brain to get rid of a lot of words. Sometimes we human beings use too many words to express something, especially express our feelings and emotions and situations that we are going through. This is one of the weakest points of our mind, that sometimes wants to create this huge story. And when you reduce this story to a few sentences, sometimes it clicks that this is really not a problem, or that this is more manageable than you thought. One of the tools of yoga is the beauty of simplicity, simplicity of life, simplicity of ideas, being very careful with the words that we choose, the thoughts that we think. This is going to make you a more grounded human being and simplify the complexity that the mind can be. And you're going to see that a space opens up within you. Also practice this in your daily life. When you are talking to someone, think about what you're going to say, pause for a moment, don't be rushed to respond, why you are going to say it. What is the intention to say these words to someone? If you want to share with someone how you feel or what is your problem or your perceived problem, try to use the least amount of words. The more words you use, you are feeding your mind to become chaotic or more complex. And sometimes we grow a problem that is really not a problem just because we are talking about it with everyone, with all our friends. This already is helping you practice awareness in your daily life. This is also going to be in tune with your true self. Your true self doesn't need words at all. Your true self is an energetic field, that space of calmness within you, and you're going to present yourself to the world with a temperament grounded in stillness and calmness. That's all, beautiful free spirits. As always, take care of yourselves, stay healthy, and I will see you in the next video. Namaste.